Verse 62. Trisama samagasamaha nirvanam bheshajam bhishat sannyasakat kshamaha shantaha nishta shantihi parayanam. Sama samagaha samaha nirvanam bheshajam bhishat sannyasakrut kshamaha shantaha nishta shantihi parayanam. This is one verse where we have the maximum 12 names appearing in these two lines. Trisama. Trisama means one who is praised by the three samas, one who has been glorified by the three samas. Sama means divine songs, hence Veda. The ones who have been praised by the singers of Samveda, they are called Devas, the Vratas, the Samans. Mahavishnu is not only praised by Samaveda, he is also the one chanting the Samaveda. So he is called Samagaha. Samagaha, singer or chanter of Samaveda, the singer of the Saman songs. One who performs the actions prescribed in Samaveda and who invokes the Lord is called Udgata. Apart from being praised by Samavedas and he himself chanting them, he is Samaveda. He is personification of Samaveda. So he is called Samaha. Samaha means Samaveda, which is synonymous with the Supreme Being. The Lord Himself is the Samaveda, or other way around, the Samaveda is also a manifestation of the same Supreme Being. This highlights the sacredness of the Samaveda. Lord Krishna declared in the Gita, of Vedas and the Samaveda. So that much importance is given to Samaveda among the Vedas. Vedanam Samaveda Asmi. It means I am the Samaveda among the Vedas. This entire verse 22 of chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, reads like this: Vedanam Samavedosmi Devanam Asmi Vasavaha Indriyanam Manaschasmi Bhutanam Asmi Chetana. We already seen I am the Samaveda among the Vedas. Same verse, Lord Krishna also declares, among the gods, I am Vasava, Indra. I am the mind among the senses. Among living beings, I am consciousness. So we can see in all these four, he belongs to the highest category, the most significant, important category. In Vedas, he is Samaveda. Supreme, who is an embodiment of Samaveda, is ever free destination of all seekers. Ever free, ever free. Nirvana means ever free because that is the nature of the Parandhamam. Lord Himself is ever liberated, ever free. There is no trace whatsoever of any imperfection or even a trace of sorrow in Him. So His nature is all bliss. It's called Nirvana. Now, he represents the best medicine for the disease called samsara. Samsara is the one where human beings always have sorrows. Even if you get happiness, that is followed by sorrow. Or when happiness vanishes, what is left is sorrow. So he is a medicine called Bheshajam. Bheshajam means medicine. The Lord Himself is very specific too for the disease of samsara. Samsara means change. Samsara means becoming, not being. Being is supreme being. Apart from being the best medicine, for disease of samsara, the Supreme Being, that is Mahavishnu, is the physician administering the medicine. So he is called Bishak. He is the medicine. He is also the physician administering the medicine. He is a Bishak administering Bheshajam. Mahavishnu describes the cure for the disease of samsara. The Lord is the one who manifested during the churning of the Milky Ocean as Dhanvantari. Dhanvantari is a deity, presiding deity of all medicines. Especially in Ayurveda, he is considered to be the real presiding deity. He is shown holding a pot of Amrit, pot of nectar in his hand. Dhanvantari is considered presiding deity of the medical sciences. He is also the doctor. He is the physician of the Devas. For attaining this particular status, we need some sannyasa. And sannyasa, he is a person who has instituted sannyasa. Sannyasa helps us. Sannyasa means renouncing all world bondages. Sannyasa helps us to achieve liberation. So he's called, next name is Sannyasakrit. Sannyasakrit is the one who has instituted the institution of sannyasa. He is the creator of sannyasa. Sannyasa is the fourth state stage of life called sannyasa ashrama. Other three ashramas are called brahmacharya, the initial part of life when we prepare ourselves for life through education as a student, as a brahmachari in the Gurukula. This is followed by grihastha ashrama when we lead the life of a humble householder. Third stage is vanaprastha when we retire from active life and lead a life which is less encumbered, less entangled with samsara. But the final stage is sannyasa when we give up all attachment, all to material things, and in effect we attach ourselves to Mahavishnu, reaching that level. So such a great institution is the one which has been instituted by Mahavishnu. It's called Sannyasa Krit. Now, sannyasa is the one which helps us to achieve total calm. It is called shama, shamaha. The Lord's mind is totally free from passions of the sense organs. Through sannyasa, he teaches the seekers the life of calmness and quietude without any attachment, without any worries, without any raga, dvesha, what we call the passions. So, with such accumulated inner peace, the final experience of realization becomes possible. Thus, we can see the four stages are there. What are the stage duties of the four stages? It is brought out in a beautiful verse. Yatinam prashramo dharmaha niyamo vanavasinam दानम एव गृहस्थानां शुश्रूषा brahmachariणाम. Brahmacharya, that is student phase of life. The main duty is to render service to the guru. Second stage, grihastha, householder. Here our duty is to do charity, to help other human beings. In the spirit of Manav Seva is Madhava Seva. Service to humanity is to service to God. Third stage is Vanaprastha, technically called forest dweller. Maybe in this age it is not possible to go to the forest, but we can remain where we are, but lead a life of restraint, lesser running after cravings of the senses. Fourth stage is sannyasa, renunciation. Then you are supposed to have calmness. So sannyasa without shama, without calmness is inconceivable. If a person is still hankering after raga and desha, he can never be called a true sannyasi. A true sannyasi who is used to be being calm automatically becomes also tranquil, shantaha, tranquil, one who is quiet within. This is the feature of the Lord. The Lord Himself, His sense organs are perfectly controlled. The Shvetavasasvara Upanishad glorifies the supreme state as actionless, partless, peaceful. The Supreme, who is the treasure house of tranquility, is abode of all beings during Pralaya. He is called Nishtaha. Nishtaha. It is the abode of all beings during Pralaya. It is a place where we go and relax comfortably, stay there. And if we have to come back, then we are come back in the next stage of creation. The abode of all beings, not only while living, but also during Pralaya. Mahavishnu is the abode of all beings, not only while living here, but even during Pralaya, even after the deluge. We don't vanish anywhere. We only go to his place, his abode, Nishtaha. During this cosmic dissolution, all the living creatures merge back into their seed form, which is called Vasanas, and remain under his safe custody. Therefore, he is called abode of the universe. Nishtaha, the supreme, the abode of all beings, represents perfect peace. Shantihi. Shanti is peace. Actually, God's nature itself is peace. His very nature is peace. All agitations caused by desires and consequent temptations to strive, acquire, indulge them vanishes. They don't find place where the Supreme Being is there. It is peace. He is Purna Swarupa, always full, the all full. There is no desire. He has no other unfulfilled desire. He has no need to seek any fulfillment. And what do this fulfillment? Normally we human beings we run after perishable objects of the universe. But Supreme is not like this. He is Shantakaram, his personification, his form itself is of peace. The Supreme is always at peace. That's why the most popular verse of Mahavishnu says Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrusham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmikantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Dhyanagam. See, it starts with the very word Shantakaram. Now, this state and abode of perfect peace is the supreme goal of all seekers. So it is called Parayanam. Parayanam is the supreme goal. Mahavishnu represents the supreme goal. After reaching him, there is no return. It is called moksha, liberation. Liberation from the bondages of the material world. Now, this is described in verse 8, verse 21 of chapter 8, Akshara Parabrahma Yoga. It says, Avyaktokshara ityuktaha, Avyaktaha Akshara iti uktaha. It is known as Avyaktam, is unmanifest, Aksharaha, imperishable, iti uktaha, Tamahu Paramam Gatim. Tam, that is called Ahu Paramam Gatim Parandhamam Yam Prapya Na Nivartante, after attaining which Na Nivartante, nobody comes back. Tadhama Paramam Mama, that place is mine. That that great place, that Parandhama Mama. Really, Lord Krishna is giving, Mahavishnu is giving his alternate address. Where do you find him? Where do you find you, sir? We find you in that place. A place where once you go, there's no need to come back. And how is it? Avyaktaha, Aksharaha. Okay? Avyaktokshara ityuktaha tamahuhu paramam gatim yam prapya nanivartante tadhama paramam mama. The unmanifest Avyakta is called the imperishable Akshara. It is said to be the ultimate goal. Paramam Gatim. Those who reach it do not return. Means there is no need for them to return to this world of sorrow. That is my supreme abode. Paramam Dhama. Parandhama. Okay. With this we conclude this verse 62. Sarve Janaah Sukhino Bhavantu. Let everybody be happy. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.